So, guys, what we are going to be doing in the knowledge section is, um, okay, Max. All right, and what we are going to be doing in the knowledge test book, sorry, is page 49. But first of all, here it is. I'm going to write it in the group chat for you to see it. 48. Okay. Well, as we have already been mentioning, I think that in some parts of the city it is going to rain a lot, and unfortunately for some of us, maybe there's this possibility that for some the internet may just go off or the electricity. But like, let's pray that it doesn't happen, because internet and electricity is like something important nowadays. But either way, for us not to waste a lot of time, I'm going to share a video for you to see that is related to the topic of science, hard water and soft water. You don't need to do anything. It's just watching the video and try to remember what we were mentioning about hard water and soft water. This video is for you to see the difference between both terms. Okay, here it is. Okay, I'm going to play it in 1, 2, and 3.
If you wash with soap using rainwater, washing is easy and there are plenty of bubbles. We say the water is soft. But if you use well or tap water, it's sometimes difficult to get a lather and a scum forms. In this case, we say the water is hard. Hardness is usually caused by the presence of calcium ions dissolved in the water. Water coming from rivers or wells has had to flow through the surrounding rocks, and if they contain soluble calcium salts, the water will become hard. So here's a question. Why do you think rainwater is always soft? Pause the video until you have thought of an answer. Well, all the salts which dissolve out of the rocks end up in the seas, but when water evaporates, later forming the rain, the salts are left behind in the seas, meaning that the rainwater is always free of salts and therefore soft. However, gases from the air can dissolve in rainwater, and one of these is dissolved carbon dioxide. When rainwater falls on limestone, that's calcium carbonate, the limestone dissolves slowly, which is how the great caves full of stalactites are formed. Here is the equation. Calcium carbonate reacts with the carbon dioxide in the rain to form soluble calcium hydrogen carbonate. This form of hardness is called temporary hardness, because boiling reverses the reaction and the hardness is removed. But the limestone will deposit in your pipes, on the cooking utensils, or in your kettle, forming something we call limescale. And this is also how stalactites are formed in those big caves. Another form of hardness is called permanent hardness, which comes from rocks containing gypsum, which is calcium sulfate. In this case, you do not get limescale, but you still, of course, get a scum with soap. So what is this scum? Well, soap is made by boiling natural fats and oils with sodium hydroxide. The soap molecules, for example sodium stearate, have a long tail which is attracted to oil or dirt, and the sodium ion end which is attracted to water. In this way, dirt is lifted off your hand and the clothes and is carried away by the water. However, calcium stearate is insoluble, so if the water contains calcium ions, the soap will not work until all the calcium ions have been precipitated out as scum. Detergents are sodium salts of compounds called alkyl benzene sulfonates, whose calcium salts are soluble, so there is no problem of scum with detergents. So to summarize, we saw that water becomes hard by flowing through rocks containing calcium salts, and these react with soap to form a scum of calcium stearate, making it difficult to use the soap. Temporary hard water forms deposits of limescale when heated, but rainwater is soft, lathers easily with soap since it's free of dissolved salts.
Sorry, thank you. Okay, we have already said two different things, that there is the hard water and the soft water. So can you tell me where, like the exact place in which we can find hard water? They mention a specific place. Which one is it? It is a place, for example, from which, well, it's like an instrument from the medieval era, for example, in which you need to pull the rope in order to get some water. How can we call it to that one?
I forgot it.
E is with W. Yo, with W.
Water.
It's not water. Yeah, it's not water. It's just okay. Well, thank you. Well, I mean, this word has two different meanings. Like well, as in saying in Spanish, bueno. Okay, for example, and there is this noun terminology that it means that it is the place. Pozo. That's a well. Yeah, Danny, that's a well, un pozo. Yeah. Okay, and which is a place in which we can find soft water? A place, or from where can we see it? They mentioned this moment. Okay, thank you, Anna. I was going to mention that one. Okay, we can find it in rain. All right, perfect, in rain, and also there is something very specific that like that makes us differentiate between the hard water and the soft water. For example, if we are taking a bath and let's say that the water comes from a well or that it comes from the pipe, you know, that comes from the other one. Okay, Roberto, like part of the salt, and there is this thing that I don't think that you have seen it before. No creo que lo hayan visto antes. But in your water deposit, there is maybe, of course, in the roof, but there is this thing that in Spanish is like, well, there are like white particles. I don't know, like that are floating above the water. Son como cositas blancas que flotan sobre el agua. Mayormente están en el depósito de agua. ¿Alguien tiene alguna idea? Anyone has any idea of how they are called? In Spanish, if you don't remember the term in English, in Spanish, with letter S.
Sarro.
Yep, in Spanish, sarro, and in English, they call it scum, as it was mentioned in the video, that you may have something in here, and like around, alrededor, está lo que se pega en las paredes, Roberto. That's what it gets stuck on the walls, and at some point it is like sarro or scum in the other terms. Okay, thank you, Andrea, for telling me. Okay, guys, we have in where it was okay, Andrea. Okay. Tell him that it's okay. Okay. Guys, in exercise number 3, we need to read, well, it says read the text again, and it says complete the sentences by underlining the correct option. I am going to share the screen for you to see it. Here it is. Monse Sanchez, are you there or no? Or
Yes.
okay, Monse, can you tell me, well, from number 1, can you choose an option? I am going to read it and you need to choose one option. It says limescale induced blank space can cause water to run much slower than it should. Blockages, blocks, or hardness? Which one do you think it is?
Blocks.
You were close. The other one?
Blockages.
Yes, blockages. Blockages is number 1. Okay, then we have number 2. Anna, can you help me with number 2? I am going to read and you need to choose one option. It says water space is caused by exchanging the high levels of minerals for sodium, softness, hardness, or beats.
It could be both. I don't know, like softness.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Softness. Because if you remember the video, they showed that the water, in some ways, the water that is hard needs of some changes in the levels of minerals for it so it can become soft. Okay. And then we have number 3. Well, this is in general, guys. Number 3. It says minerals are collected by water when it is moving away from its original what?
Source.
Okay, Ena and Roberto and Diego Campos and Danny Farfan, source. Number 3 is source. Okay. I'm going to stop the screen sharing. All right, we are not going to do exercise number 4, guys. We are moving on to number 5. On the next page, of course. We're moving on to number 5, and okay, so we have 3 different sentences. All right, so I hope that you remember like what was the grammar, well, some grammar aspects of deduction. So in here we have the beginning of the sentence or some clues of the sentence, and it says, use the sentence as a model to write a deduction about the past using the elements given. Basically, what we are going to be doing here is to write some deductive sentences, but if you notice the example that it says, if you have seen white residue on your colored t-shirt after a wash, you are using, in this case, part of a conditional sentence. So then we have number 1, this is in general, we have number 1 that says anonymous phone number, and it says an old friend. How can you make a sentence well, that it says, that is kind of explaining a deduction? ¿Cómo pueden hacer una oración con esas dos frases para demostrar que están haciendo la deducción de algo? Using the example from above. You can start with if you want, like if what? If, okay, Roberto, well, like let's add this one. If there is an anonymous phone number calling, for example, and then comma, it can be, or it could be, because remember that we are talking about the past, it could be an old friend. Okay. I am writing the answer in here, or if you receive a message from an anonymous phone number, it could be an old friend. Okay, perfect. I am going to use these 2 examples, the one that Ena and Roberto formed and the one that Monse Sanchez is given. If you receive a message from an anonymous phone number, it could be Roberto. Maybe it's a hacker, but let's not think about that one. Maybe it could be an old friend. Okay, there you have number 1. How can you form a phrase in a sentence in number 2? It says an oil leak, and then it says contaminated the ocean. You can start, remember, with if, or for example, in this one, we can use the second conditional. If an oil leaked, like in the past, if an oil leaked, we could have, okay, like if there is an oil, okay, perfect. If there is an oil leak, the ocean might get, okay, I'm going to use Monse and Max's examples. If there is an oil leaked, the ocean might get contaminated. That's one, and this other option. If there's an oil leaked, we could have a contaminated ocean. Okay, perfect. That's number 2. And then can you tell me for number 3, it says a leaking tap, and then it says high water bill. Remember that a tap in this case, it means like something like this, como un grifo, la llave del agua. That's what it means, a tap. How can you could have a higher, okay, you could have a high water bill if there is a leaking tap. Okay, thank you, Monse. That's one. Any other option, or we leave it in that one? No one, so we can leave it in that one. Well, I guess we're going to leave it in with Monse's option. There you are. Then we have this one. It says, write about the following topics, speculating past events. Also, well, just this one. The water tastes strange when you brush your teeth. Following, speculating past events. Okay, guys, how can you make a sentence with those 4? Like using the structure from the previous one. Usando la estructura del ejercicio anterior, ¿cómo podrían armar oraciones en la número 6?
With all of them together?
Well, not to get to be together, but like one each. Like for example, if the water tasted strange, what else? When you brush your teeth?
Waffle in the sink seems to be blocked. That's why the water tastes strange when you brush your teeth.
Ah, okay, perfect. So you're combining both options. So if you said, Anna, if the plug hole is in the sink seemed to be blocked, the water would taste strange when you brush your teeth, right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so that will be like an example. And then we have this other one. You feel itchy when you shower. And then we have your clothes feel hard. I mean, in this one, in 3 and 4, I think we need to make separate sentences. You feel itchy when you shower. How can you complete that one? Using the previous structure. Remember that itchy is when you feel like something like this. Itchy es cuando te da una rasquera, una comezón.
Because of the plug hole in the tap.
Okay, because of the what again?
Plug hole in the tap.
Okay, because of the plug hole in the tap, you might feel itchy when you shower, or you could feel itchy when you shower. Okay, perfect. And your clothes feel hard. Like, you know that, for example, when you're washing your clothes, at some point, maybe if you leave them dry under the sun, they may be like really, really hard. How can you make a sentence in that one?
Your clothes feel hard if you leave them under the sun to dry.
Okay, your clothes might feel or could feel hard if you leave them under the sun or for a long time, for example, or to dry. Okay, perfect. Well, I think I'm going to finish this session because this topic is kind of over, so I can start tomorrow with social studies. So guys, any doubt until the ADA that you need to do or no? ¿Dudas sobre la ADA? No? No one? The project? No? Nothing? Well.
Teacher, I stay.
What?
I stay.
Yes, Andrea, please. Okay, well, guys, you can go and have lunch and I will see you tomorrow.
Bye, teacher. Have a nice day.
Mm-hmm.
Bye,
You
teacher.
as well, guys.